There we go. Thank you so much, dear participants, for joining us for yet another USEC Live Online Learning Competition Research Skills. USEC stands for UNISA Science Engagement Center. I hope you are ready for this wonderful session. Please don't hesitate to be interactive with us. And for more information, pay attention to your chat box. That's where I'll send out our email, and that's where I'll be answering some of your questions that you might even have during the presentation. And to our online participants, really appreciate your time. To our participants who are watching this recording, thank you so much for taking the time. Without wasting time, I'll hand over to Meneer Caspar Johannes van Staden.
Thank you so much, Jamila. Welcome, everybody. We only have a few small house rules for today. We'd like to ask everybody to please mute your cameras to save data and bandwidth. Also to mute your microphones, keep all the background noise to a minimum. If anybody has a question at any point in time, please feel free to raise your hand. Or if you have some mic problems, please use the chat area. There will be a question and answer session between the presentations. And that's all from my side. Over to you, Dr. Gous.
Hi, everybody. There we go. Thank you for all the introductions. Thank you for the rich conversation we had in the previous session. And so I feel like I need to get the presentation out of the way so we can have further discussions. So we are going to present. It's about research skills, but it all builds on the other one. The one builds onto the other one, and so we're going to talk about a different type of robotics competition. And as we unpack it, you'll see where it all fits together. We'll give you an overview now, and then we will start with different. So the focus today is just the overview, and then tomorrow we'll start with the robot and the programming, and then we will hopefully by Thursday I'll get some experts in for the research topic as well. So let's unpack all that quickly. I'm just going to share the presentation, and then we'll go through that. There we go. And if I don't hear anything, I'm assuming we can see everything.
Yes, Dr. Gous, I can see.
Awesome. All right. So we've got, there's a whole lot of things in the topic because it's about robotics competitions, but there's always an engineering part, a programming part, and a research part to a greater or a lesser extent. And so this is part 1, and we will do part 2 tomorrow, and 3, and then 4 on Thursday. Okay. So just kind of as an overview, in South Africa there is there's kind of a dual stream. So on the one hand, you've got the Department of Basic Education with a curriculum that's in the school syllabus. On the other hand, you have the Department of Science and Innovation, and they have under them is SASTA, and SASTA has mandated a STEMI, and a STEMI does all the science Olympiads and competitions. Now, under the science Olympiads and competitions, there are 4 clusters, and the one is the maths cluster, the other one is the knowledge cluster, which are all your quizzes. Then there's the innovation cluster, which is very similar to the ESCOM Expos, and then under the cluster robotics and coding, there are a collection of different robotics and coding competitions. And so what we're going to dive into today is to say, kind of unpack what are the robotics competitions and how are they themed annually, but then also to kind of underline and highlight that every competition, every robotics competition has got different requirements which are required of you as the coach. Okay, and so what we want to do and we want to ensure is that our learners A, participate, but B, participate and have a quality experience. We do not want our learners to have a second-rate experience, okay? Especially if we're going to take them internationally, we need to have them on an international standard. And so that's what we're driving towards, but this is an iterative process, and so we're developing these skills. So what we discussed, you heard about it in the previous session, is the virtual gear competition. So that is available on the UNISA MOOC portal. It's available till the end of November. We have teams of about 5 learners. And the important part there is the robot, and then writing up an engineering notebook and writing up to say, how did they design the robot? How did they build the robot? How did they program the robot? So the focus there is just on the learning of the robot and the programming. Okay. The World Robot Olympiad, this year they've got a really cool theme called My Robot, My Friend. Only teams of 3. There's a regular category, there's an open category, and then there's a sport category. And then they've got the first tech challenge, which is for the grade 8 to 12. And then we start building these big robots with 3D printing and laser cutting. So you see, each type of competition has got a different kind of flavor to it. What we're going to focus on today is the first Lego League challenge. Okay, so the first Lego League Explore, I'm happy to share information, but the kids or the learners do have to program their robot, and they have to have a poster, and it's all in the theme. But what we're going to focus on for the next 4 sessions in this 4 o'clock slot is to say, what are the requirements for grades 4 to 10 learners? So the team can be up to 10 learners, but they've got to do a robot, and they've got to do a project, and they need to function as a team. And underlying all this is this 21st century skills. We are developing teams to function and thrive in the 21st century. Okay, and collaboration and teamwork are those skills that they're going to need. Okay, the robot, you're going to build and program that robot needs to complete as many of the missions in 3 matches, and each match is 150 seconds. So you have 2.5 minutes, and we will unpack that tomorrow. The project has got to be an innovative solution to a real world problem. Okay, and that we're going to do on Thursday, and I'll kind of show you how we go about finding the solution. But you'll see in the conversation that even if you're building the robot, there are lots of hints of how or what the problems are, what the solutions are, but the 2 are totally separate. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I will analyze, I'll show you the mission rule book, I will show you where all your resources are. Tomorrow we will actually build and program the robot, and then I will explain the impact of risk on the robot, how you choose which missions you're going to do, and how you combine high risk and low risk missions. And then on Wednesday, we'll start putting it together to have a strategy. So each team must have a robot strategy. What is the robot going to do? For how many points? In how many seconds? Okay, and then in Unit 4, on Thursday, we'll talk about the research project. Okay, so if you step back and you say, so what is the purpose? What is the goal of a robotics competition? Okay, so you're going to need to build and program the robot, and it has to complete these it has to do things to get points, and you get 3 attempts to do it on the day of the competition. But it is themed, and this year's theme is superpowered. So everything on the mission table is about superpowers, about using energy differently, more effectively, more efficiently, and the journey of the energy from the source to the storage to the usage. Okay, but the team needs to be able to present their research. They have 5 minutes, and they have to be very organized in their thoughts, in their presentation, to be able to present to a team of judges as effectively as possible what their research is, what's the problem, what's the solution, what is their solution, who have they spoken to, right? And then they must develop as a team. All right, so let me just talk about the team. A team is up to 10 members, and each member must have a contribution to make to the team. We do not want children just on the team for the sake of numbers. And we also don't want to have individuals who are carrying and doing all the work of the whole team. At all times, you must watch your team and understand that everybody has got to make a contribution. All right. So the first thing is that the learners need to know what the names of the missions are. They can't just make up their own names. There's actually, and I'm going to show you all the resources now. But each member of the team must be able to build a robot. If they didn't build the chassis, then they must have at least built some of the attachments. and they must have at least programmed some of the missions. It's not okay to have 2 or 1 or 2 learners doing all the robots, all the cool work, and then leaving all the other stuff for everybody else. They must be able to join forces, and they must be able to participate in the project. Okay, so how do you do this? So I'm going to tell you. Okay, first rule is you are the coach, and dear coach, you coach. Please do not draw them a poster, do not build their robot, do not program their robot, do not tell them what the mission, what their project is. You are the coach. You've got to coach the teams in their learning, and you do not need to do. All right. So, and let's start with a warning. You've got to be realistic. You have to be realistic. It's very easy to go to the YouTube and go and look at teams that are scoring like 680 points. It's like, oh, wow, that's awesome. Those teams are working 3 and 4 and 5 days a week. They're experienced. It says they're in their first or second or third or fourth year. And normally what happens is that a team morphs. So you get a team that started, say, 10 years ago, and then the older learners become the mentors, and they add new learners in. And so, and that is what we want at schools. So if you have your grade 6s and 7s, you want to keep adding learners from grade 5, and your grade 7 learners then come back as mentors to help the team. Okay, and that's what we are aiming for. So they actually mentor each other, which is really an ideal model to have. So keep reality. Do not let your learners fall into the trap of thinking they can score 680 points, because they can't. Not if they're a rookie team. Okay, that needs a strategy. If you're going to score high, you've got to have a strategy. You've got to have it timed. You've got to have a starting block. You've got to have where you're going to do it. And I'm going to show you the mat now. It's a little bit more complicated this year, because there are 2 starting areas as well. So it's like a really next level. Okay, so for new or rookie teams, there's some really cool Dr. Hino videos where he unpacks how do you do. And I know there was one for last year, and I cannot think, Cargo Connect. I know for Cargo Connect, he did the little Riley Rover robot, and you can do most of the missions. Okay, for those who have already had the Cargo Connect experience, they've done that theme. We are moving away from Riley Rover, and we'll be presenting some really cool designs tomorrow. We've got to move up a level. We've got to keep moving up a level. Okay. So I'm asking you to set goals because you know your team, all right? So maybe your team wants to score 100 points. That's awesome, okay? And when they get there, you can say, are we happy with that, or we want to move the goals? So that is you as the coach. That is where you coach the teams, all right? But you do need to divide the load, okay? And also, there's 16 missions. You do not need to do mission 1, mission 2, mission 3, mission, no. So in your team of 10, you take a 3 and a 3 and a 4 learners, and these choose that mission, those learners choose that mission and that one. So you each group of learners has a mission, and they take ownership for that mission, and we'll unpack that tomorrow. All right. So this is notice this picture is not very clear, but this is kind of what the mat looks like. So for superpowered. Now the problem with superpowered is you might see over here, there's a launch area and there's a launch area. So the robot can start from here, or the robot can start from here, which is great. It can go out to this mission and come back, and it can do that mission and come back. But from here, it can go to that. There's a mission here, and it can come back, and it can go out to that mission back, which is great, except that to get from here to here, the robot actually has to move. Okay? So it can either move here, it can do this mission and then go there, or it can do this mission. The hydraulic hydroelectricity goes here and then it goes back to there. But that is part of your strategy. Okay, and I'm going to show you now. You get a team meeting guide for the educators, and you get an engineering notebook for the learners. You need to put your notes in there. And it guides you. So that's why it's called a team meeting guide. For every meeting of the team, you have a guide, and you have step 1 to step whatever. Okay. If you divide these 12 sessions up, okay, you have 4 weeks where you do analysis and problem solving. You have 4 weeks where you start making solutions and programming things and putting things together. And the last 4 weeks, you really need to test your strategy. You need to put the fine-tune points on there and then score. Okay. You cannot do 2 weeks and then decide you're going to a competition because you're not prepared. Okay. You need to do it. You need to have 4 weeks of analysis and problem solving, which you need to do. You need to have 4 weeks of solutions and pulling it together. What works, what doesn't work, what missions can work together. And the last 4 weeks, you really need to fine-tune, especially your project. Okay. Yes, there are videos. There's a whole lot of videos. I quickly went to go and look. There's a whole lot of videos, and everybody's got their own interpretation. But please watch as many videos. And your learners must watch the videos. All right? Your learners must watch videos. Okay. Here, if you've got any questions, there's our emails address. And the purpose of these sessions is really to equip you as the robotics coaches. Okay. You have to ask questions. Time and time again, we get to competitions and learn. The coaches said, well, we didn't know. Well, you didn't ask, right? And then we'll never know. So if you have a team, a robotics team, it does help to give everybody a role, okay? So you're the builders, the programmers, that is your main role, but you do need to help with the project. Everybody needs to help with everything else, but you have responsibilities, all right? And just keep it in the back of your mind that not everybody solves problems exactly the same. Some people want to build something, some people want to draw, some people want to tell you. This is a team effort. It always has to be a team effort. All right, so where are we in the season? All right, so it was launched, the Superpowered season was launched on the 1st of August. Okay, I'm going to show you where to download all the documents. You need to read the documents. You need to read the documents. And I would say start thinking about the research sooner rather than later. Get your learners to start doing research. Get them to start looking for experts in your community. Let them start asking questions. Okay, and then let them start thinking about the missions. Which missions do they want to do, and which missions would they maybe not want to do? Okay, because in total there are 12 sessions that have to be done. You probably need more sessions if you. Yeah, my teams always started with many more sessions. But anyway, 12 sessions at least, and then we can start thinking about going to a competition. Okay. About the missions, I'm going to show you the mission rule book. Okay. It's not just that there's one problem. There are lots of missions. Okay. And what's important is to look at the verbs. Must you push something? Must you pull something? Must you fetch something? Must you move something? What must you actually do? And this is where the problem-solving techniques come in. All right. Draw it and say, okay, you've got to move here, and we'll unpack that tomorrow. But you do not need to do the missions in any order, and you do not need to do all the missions. You can choose which missions you want to do, which of the missions are easier, which of the missions, and we'll set it all up, and then we can have this discussion tomorrow. All right. So you've got to read the mission. So you read what you need to do. You've got to know what the name is. You've got to say what the scoring is. Is it difficult? Is it easy? What is the risks? Okay. And then you can write some comments and think, is it doable? Is it not doable? And then make lists. Make lists of the easier missions, the more difficult missions, and the mission impossible. So yeah, you've got to have keep a list. Okay, so this is the first and foremost strategy is about a time strategy. You only have 150 seconds to score as many points as possible. Okay. There's a difficulty. There's a level of difficulty, but that's linked to your risk. Okay, so one that goes right across the mat, it's got a high risk. Ones that just go forward and back, there's a lower risk. Okay, those that need to fetch something or drop something and fetch something, it's a bit more difficult. Okay, can we combine the missions? Okay, to save time to get the points, and so then you must be able to say, do we want to do it or don't want to do it? All right. Okay, so here is, if you build a straightforward, and I'm going to show you some robots now, you need to build the chassis, and then you need to build the attachments. And I always prefer that each group of learners build their own attachments. Okay, it'll be really cool if one attachment can be used for more than one mission, or one program can be joined for more than, but eventually a team must decide to bring it together to say, this will work for the whole match. All right. So I'm going to quickly give you an overview of some resources. There is the team meeting guide. I'm going to show you an example. That is the 12 sessions for the teacher. The engineering notebook, those are the 12 sessions for the learners. And I would encourage you just to put ring binder holes in them, because there's going to be lots of other papers. Okay. Then there is a game rule book, and there's also a multimedia resources book that you can download. All right. So let me quickly just stop sharing here, and I'm going to share with you and show you what it looks like. All right. So let me go first. This is the team meeting guide. The team meeting guide is for the teachers. I'm just going to go back to the thing. The team meeting guide will give you step by step. It's kind of an overview of what you have to do. And I would really encourage you to please read, as a coach, read it from cover to cover. Okay, there's your robotics table. There's a whole lot of QR codes. There's the building instructions. So open it up. Please do not use your innovation and imagination and create your own mission models. Please build them exactly as they are in the building instructions. And once you've done that, you've got to actually stick them down with dual lock onto the mats. And I will show you that tomorrow. I will show you how to fasten it to a mat. All right. In terms of your layout, so this is kind of where they think a session should go. I always preferred the 2 hour, so half an hour, half an hour, 4 half an hours, and down the center we have a break. But this gives you an idea of, so on the one hand, you've got to all come together to say, okay, what are we going to do? Make a list, draw it on the board, draw it on the whiteboard, draw it, decide what are we going to do. Then there needs to be something about robots and a discussion about the research. And then there must, at the end of the session, there must be a sharing. Do not have learners running off saying, oh, my parents are here, I've got to go, bye. And then you are going to sit with the robot, the laptops that aren't shut down, the stuff that hasn't been packed away. That's not going to happen. All right. So I would encourage you as the coach, take control of your team. You are coaching. All right. And time management is an important part of coaching. All right. I'll show you now what this blue energy, yellow energy. So this is kind of where it goes. And it gives you exactly in every session what you're supposed to do. So there's some management tips. There's the pre-session checklist. Okay, and there's the first session. So there's some videos. You just go onto the QR code. You say how that's what you've got to do, and it's got an introduction, and it's got a reflection, and it's got another QR code. And so everything is there for session 1. Prepare well for every session. All right, and all the information is here. Now linked to this. Okay, so this is still session 1. Okay, so it's labeled session 1, and there's all the stuff that you need for session 1. And then you go to session 2. All right. Now, linked to that, you've got the engineering notebook, which the learners have. Okay, there we have a detailed account. So on your robotics mat are these mission pieces: the wind turbine, that one, and that, the television, and the hydro. So blue energy is your water, hydroelectric, and that's the hydroelectric and hydroelectric. And then this is this is new energy, and this is the non-renewable energy. Okay, the stuff that's going to disappear quickly. All right. So, and I'll explain this also with the research, how you've got to decide in which band you are doing research. Okay. So let's go the other way. So in session 1, your learners actually need to write in this. All right. And if this is not enough paper for them to write, then they need to get extra paper and to write on the back of the paper, but they need to write things. You need to have, so how could stopping a motor help you to solve a mission with your robot? Okay. You've got to actually work through all these questions. And there's the white energy questions, and then this comes to session 2. All right. So your team has this one. All right. Linked to this is your robot game rulebook, and this describes every single mission, the do's, the don'ts, the cans, the cannots. All right, and you should at least have 2 copies of this lying in your robotics classroom. Okay, so this would tell you exactly what is allowed and what is not allowed. There are a gazillion QR codes throughout this. It's very interactive. All right, and this gives you a layout. So there's your one launch area, that's your other launch area, those are your home, and that's your home. And there it labels every single mission, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to number, where are we going, 11, 12, okay? All right, and then if you have, going down to the missions, okay, there it says mission 1. What is mission 1? You have to build something with the white blocks. What must you do? You must take it into one of these circles. If it's like there, you're going to get 10 points. If it's there, you're going to get 10 points. You must design it and bring it yourself. Your innovation project model must be at least partly in the hydrogen plant target. You get 10 points. Okay. The next one is the oil platform. So there it says, what must you do? Oil is a non-renewable energy source that can be used to provide fuel for vehicles. Where is it? It's over there. What must you do? You must pump the oil so that the fuel units load into the fuel truck and then deliver the fuel truck to the fueling station. Awesome. All right. So then you see, if the fuel is in the fuel truck, you get 5 points. If you have at least one fuel in the fuel truck and the fuel truck is at least partly over the fueling station, you get added 10 points. And so this is how you add the 10 points. Now, where does the robot have to do? Well, how are we going to do it? All right, and we'll unpack that tomorrow. All right. So every single mission is then explained, tells you how many points, tells you what's available and what can be done and what can't be done. You need to build the robot to then do these missions, to build and program the robot to do these missions. All right. Now, over and above that, you still have this, which is the multi, and it's got a whole lot of multiple resources. I'm just going to add from the beginning here. So what they've got is they've got all this multimedia available for you as coaches. So there, as a coach and a mentor, there is all the multimedia. There is the engineering and designing. There is some links for you. There is how to manage a team. There are some core values. How do you get a team to actually work together? There is a whole big book of team building games which you can use. Some of the games really work. Your teams will love some games. Some of them maybe not so much, but you can always make it fun. All right. There is the robot design resources. There's a whole lot of resources. There's the Spike Prime resources. Then there is more Spike. There's EV3 resources. There is some robotics resources. For innovation projects, which we're going to do on Thursday, there is a whole lot of additional links that you can have, and there it just carries on and on and on. This is all about energy, so it's labeled there, the white energy. Remember what they were talking about, white energy journey resources, okay, and blue energy and yellow energy and orange energy, okay, so it's all there. And then how to get to a competition, how to prepare for a competition, and there's some really good ideas, past videos, event videos that you can look through. All right. Yes, and you do want to create that the thinking beyond the competition of what are the careers in energy, but that'll also give you an idea of which departments or which experts you can go and speak to. All right, there's a lot of good ideas, and obviously this is not for South Africa, but we can definitely find our South African equivalents in here. All right. Okay, let me just stop that. And I can stop that, and there we go. All right. So now I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to ask, are there any questions about the competition in terms of building a robot? I told you I would give you examples. So this is just a basic Riley rover. It can do competition missions, but if this is your second season, we need to get some different designs. Here's a little Spike Prime. It's just giving me a hard sign here. So this is a Spike Prime robot that we actually programmed for the virtual gear. So this is for this. No, we did. It was, sorry, it is for superpowered. We did. Elmer and I were trying to get it to go to superpowered. Yes, it does do superpowered. And we'll be sharing some cool designs then in tomorrow's session. But you can start looking at a more compact kind of robot. If this is your second season. If you've already done Cargo Connect, maybe this for superpowered, we need to just up the robot design. Very important. If your team is using building instructions, then you need to acknowledge that. The team cannot walk into a judging session and say, no, this is our design, if it's not. you can acknowledge and say, well, we used building instructions and we followed building instructions, and then we modified our own building instructions. All right. So it's very good to use and to base your robot on somebody else's design. Acknowledge that, but your team then needs to say, but we designed our own attachments, or we designed our own programs, or yeah, it's got to be your own work. All right. Any questions so far? Any questions so far?
If anybody has a question, please feel free to raise your hand or use the chat area.
And maybe if you, sorry, I'm just going to, and maybe if you don't have a team and you would like to kind of understand how the competition works, you are very welcome to register as a volunteer on the firstsa.org website. Okay, and then go to volunteers and then judge, volunteer as a judge wherever you are. See when the competitions are. Most of the competitions are running from, I think there's a 29th, is at 29th of October is UNISA Pretoria campus, and then there's one at Saibono, and there's one in KZN. But you're very welcome to understand how if you don't maybe have a team ready for this year, you're welcome to then come to a competition and kind of see how it's run and how teams then tackle a competition. I'm trying to get the team that's just been to Brazil to come and chat to us. Hopefully they've got also some insights. So let's see whether I can get them on board as well. Oh, lots of hands. Tamelo, well, whose hands have we got here?
Before I go to the hands,
Yes,
that team that went to Brazil, have they already gone or they're about to go yet?
No, they've already come back. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We certainly need to have them and interview them, and I would like to do the interviewing part.
Okay, all right.
Interact with them and perhaps have a session with them and, you know, engage with them so that next time when we have such sessions, we can even include them and it's more interactive. People can even learn from them and perhaps they can even learn from us as well. That would be very great. Thank you for that suggestion. We've got a question. I don't know whether I pronounce your name well. Is it Gerrit?
Yes, Gerrit. Yes, Doctor, I just want to get a timeline. The Superpowers is out now, but it's you have to buy your own stuff and we're still training. Are you going to dispense the Superpower, the math and the mission models? And when can we apply for this and when will it reach us in the Northern Cape?
Oh, Northern Cape. Hello, Northern Cape. Okay. So Northern Cape, where in the Northern Cape?
The R, Douglas Presco. I'm from the R.
Right. Okay, so superpowered. I'm just trying to think. Okay, I'll have to get back to you on that one. So the Northern Cape competition, I need to just think what the date is. And as I'm talking now, I can't think what the date is for Northern Cape. There. Oh, thank you. So yeah, Northern Cape, thank you very much. Northern Cape Regional is on the 26th of November. Okay. If you want to register a team, you've got time then. If you want to register a team for Superpowered, you will need to go onto the First SA website, and then the team registration is there, and also you'll need to then get a Superpower challenge kit. All right. For we haven't got our new grant equipment for new teams, but I think you're an existing grant holder, so you will need to register your own team to participate in the regional competition still this year. And then the new grant teams will only get their equipment next year, so we will be working on the off season with the new teams from next year, January to June. Yeah, on the Superpower Challenge. All right.
Yeah, no, that's good.
But you've just had your Cargo Connect challenge as well.
Yes, this was, we won the innovation project, so I'm really proud of those learners. Yeah, steep learning curve, but we are getting there.
Cool. Awesome, awesome. Hopefully I'll be there on at the Northern Cape competition on the 26th of November. Then I'll
yes, somebody from Pixley will be there. I'm not sure if it's the R. We're gonna do virtual gear, and
okay.
Yes, but we'll do the off-season one if we can get there's like 5 schools here that I want to train for that competition,
Okay.
but November will be, it's too fast now.
Okay. Let's see what we can do. All right.
Okay, great.
Cool. Okay. Excellent. Northern Cape is on the go. Just FYI. Well done, Gerard. Well done. Awesome. Okay. And hang on a minute. Angie. Yeah, Angie, your hand is up. Yes.
Hi, how are you?
How's your team doing?
Oh my goodness, they are just so cute. It's very fun watching them get excited about their robot. It is quite a journey, this, as you've said before. I just have a question about the competition. So we've jumped in the deep end very badly.
Yes.
So
Yes.
our kids know nothing about robotics. Our
Yes.
coaches know nothing about robotics, so to speak. So you saying we need 4 weeks of problem solving and 4 weeks of building and 4 weeks of troubleshooting, and then you should go for the competition. But we've just jumped in and said, we're going to do a competition.
That's
and
fine.
It will probably suck, but we're very excited.
Angie, for a minimum, it's 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 weeks. I can tell you, I've worked with teams. I used to work with them, primary schools and high schools, where we had up to 3 sessions a week. It's a lot of work, and it's kind of, that's why I said also your goals must be very realistic. How far do you want to go? And Angie, you're amazing. You just keep going. And if you need help, I know you've already shouted a couple of times to Mariska. You've got help, and so keep going. Just keep going. Yeah.
Oh, okay, no, cool. Well, I have said to the kids, because when we started this whole project, I said to the kids, look here, you've got an instructor that knows nothing. I'm learning with you. So if I don't know, you've got to help me figure it out, which has worked quite well so far. But it's also been a thing where I said to them, we're going to a competition. We'll probably be dead last, but it's okay. We're going to see what everyone else is doing and get an idea what it's about.
A rookie team, the purpose of a rookie team is to go and spy and see what everybody's doing and have a laugh. I was also there. I was also there. 2009 was my first season. I had no idea.
Oh, no, awesome. Well, we will try our best.
Absolutely. And it's all teams are really different. And even if you have an all girls team versus an all boys team versus a high school team versus a primary school team versus a special need learner team against, each team is different, and each team brings a different thing to a competition. Yeah.
Cool.
And if you have, as long as you have your plan and you say, this is how we're going to do it, and this is how we're going to have fun. Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks.
Awesome. No, it's great. Yeah, and I know Dion has visited you already, so well done.
Yeah, no, same. He I think he quite enjoyed the fact that I know nothing, because he said then I don't interfere with the kids' thinking process.
No, for sure. Yeah. My team believed that if Dion stood next to the table, the robot behaved itself. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There we go. From whence? Awesome. That's cool. Okay. So just to get back to the 12 weeks, there is in your books that those 12 weeks is kind of to get you through all the work, to get through the robot missions, to get through the programming, to get through the project. And the project, you'll find, we'll also discuss that on Thursday. The project doesn't have to be, it's not have to be huge. It doesn't have to be solving the world's problems. But if you can say, in my community, this is the problem, and this is who we spoke to, and this is our solution. All right. The last thing you want is teams to go into a judging session and the judges say, oh, this is a cool idea. Where did you get the idea from? And they say, no, my teacher said we had to talk about it. No. You want them to engage. Remember, we're developing skills. We're developing 21st century skills that our learners can thrive. And then they must take ownership of it. We'll get to that. But tomorrow we'll unpack the poor old robot and all the missions they have to do. All right, cool. Hang on a minute. Yeah.
We've got a hand from.
Oh, okay. Benzie, you want to unmute?
Benzie, your hand is up. Kindly please unmute yourself. And yes, hello. Go ahead, Benzie. Hello. Could you get a bit closer to your microphone, because we seem to not hear you nicely.
Okay, try. Sorry.
Okay, that's a bit better. Yes. How are you? Oh no. Your mic seems to not be nice. I don't know whether it's me, Dr. Khos, or it's her microphone. We still can hear you, eh?
Mic that's not working.
Okay, it's coming nicely. I think you can speak. Yes, let's hear.
Hi everyone. My question is about how active is outside of South Africa. You're a school that is executing shop.
Sure. Sorry to cut you there, Benzie, but your microphone it's really.
Type it, please. Type on chat.
I suggest that you type on the chat box.
Okay, I'll type.
Okay, but it's coming there, you know. It comes and goes like ESCOM.
I don't know what to say now. Is it still bad now? Is it better?
It's roughly better, but it's on and off, you know.
Okay, let me type on chat.
Yeah, I suggest so. Sorry, by the way.
No, it's all good. Thank you so much.
All right, and then for anyone else who has any questions regarding today's session, kindly please raise your hand, and then we'll certainly attend to that. Any questions? Or perhaps you can even send your question on the chat box, and then we'll answer that. Any other questions? I see Dr. Khos, she's saying on the chat box that we have a practical first Lego League super powered in-person workshop on Wednesday, the 5th of October. We will be on October schedule, meaning that one can come at the UNISA Florida campus in the UNISA Science Engagement Center. And the email that one can use is this one. The email address is on the chat box. There we go. Any other questions from our online participants? Dr. Khos, I've got a question. That team that went to Brazil, where are they from?
They're here from Pretoria.
Oh, wow.
Primary school from Pretoria. Yes.
Oh my goodness. And sure, we certainly need to get hold of them. I'm flabbergasted as we speak about them, and it will be very exciting to perhaps get hold of the teacher, and you know, they get through.
Yeah. All right, Benzie, I'm going to answer your question. Eswatini is one of my success stories, and so we have Titus in Eswatini. Unfortunately, COVID has caused total chaos, but we started robotics in Eswatini in 2016 already. And I think at one stage we had 40 teams participating in robotics. So I'm happy. I don't know whether you know Titus. You know, it's like Titus in Eswatini. There should be more than him. But I'm happy if you send me an email, we can set up a meeting with him, and then you can maybe I think at the time he was at Lesotho High School in Eswatini. But if you can get involved in Eswatini, if we can have more schools, the more the merrier. Thank you, Benzi, for your question. We're also trying desperately to start up something in Zimbabwe. And we are working with people in Namibia, hopefully. I think we've got 2 teams in Namibia registered already. So, and maybe this is a good time to share my vision. So of all the robotics teams in the world, 1% are from the African continent. And that's not okay. That's not okay. So we are putting in a bid for the 2025 Africa Open Championships. And obviously, if we have an Africa Open Championships, we would most of the teams should be from Africa. So we've got a whole lot of operational partners, and we're trying to get all of them on board. Well, we've actually got them on board, but we're trying to get all the teams to make sure that at least most of the African countries are represented. And then also for South Africa, I would like at least 1 team from every province. So it's a tall order, but it's a good vision to have. And it's a good vision that keeps me inspired. So we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, Benzi, you just need to send ISET an email, and when it comes to ISET Tumelo, we'll just forward it to me. I don't want to lose this conversation. Thank you. Okay. And as I said, also for those here that don't have teams ready, maybe for a competition, I really would encourage you to go to the First SA website and go and see where is a competition closest to you, and then volunteer. And maybe when they contact you, just say, I've never judged before, but I'm willing to be trained and I'm willing to learn. And so the model we would like to have is a play it forward model where learners participate and then come back and then volunteer. And so that is how we're eventually going to build up this community. But the more the merrier. Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? All right. So your homework for tonight is to go and watch 2 videos. Just watch any 2 videos on Superpowered. A number of teams have put up their robot scores already on Superpowered. Superpowered is the theme. See what resources you can find, and I think we'll start the session then tomorrow with the sharing of what resources you found and what videos you found. We're going forward. Okay. All right. I need to thank everybody really for this really good interaction. Tumelo, you could close the session for us.
Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Hose, for your lovely presentation and interacting skills with our online participants. To our fellow online participants who asked questions, really appreciate it. And for those that are about to send us an email at i-set@unisat.ac.za, we also really appreciate it. Thank you so much once again to those that are watching the recording. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch this recording. Hope it was very beneficial to you as well. Without wasting time, I'll leave you to your homeworks for tomorrow. And then it's happy Monday for now. Thank you.
Marvelous Monday till absolutely terrific Tuesday. Absolutely. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.